Hey everyone, welcome back to Ask Nutrition is Deepa. In this video, Chef AJ and I explore everything about plant proteins, history of plant proteins, how much you need, the health benefits for weight loss and diabetes. We hope you will learn something new and make sure to like, share and subscribe.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Chef AJ Live. I'm your host, Chef AJ, and this is where I introduce you to amazing people like you who are doing great things in the world that I think you should know about. Well, today is the third Saturday of the month, and I'd like to present to you a brand new show on the Chef AJ Live lineup. And the show is called Ditch the Diet with Dietitian Deepa. Today's topic is unleashing the power of lentils for weight loss, and please welcome her to the show. Hello. We did an episode last month and people really loved you, and we had an opening, and now it's yours.
Thank you so much, Chef AJ. I'm super excited to be on your show and about the topic today. I decided to talk about unleashing the power of lentils for weight loss because I feel that people are looking everywhere for weight loss except the whole natural plant foods that are easily available in every grocery store. It's a cheap yet the most powerful weight loss uh, option that is available out there. And so I thought that I would unleash this power of lentils for weight loss. And what better place to do it for your viewers on your show? So I am excited to be here today. And the the agenda is going to be introduction, what legumes are, what the history is, and why I chose lentils as my passion. So we will delve into health benefits of lentils, how to get enough protein, the whole protein panic issue I'm going to address, and then get into type of lentils. I have, gosh, at least 15 bottles of different kind of lentils here that I'm going to show, followed by some culinary uses of lentils, what to do, what not to do of consuming lentils, and there is going to be call to action, and then I'm going to talk about school meals and the role of lentils in children's health, and going to end with a very nice calming story about called diamonds under your feet. So let's get started. Lentils fall under a legume family. So legumes are from a Fabaceae botanical family, and this is the more inclusive classification of different kind of legumes, which include non-oil seeds such as pulses and oil seed crops such as peanuts and soybeans. And the legume family includes dry and uh, fresh form. And common types of legumes include dried beans, broad beans, peas, chickpeas, cowpeas, lentils, lupins, peanuts, and soybeans. So for this presentation, though, I'm going to focus on lentils because that's where I have spent a lot of my time in the kitchen cooking with different kind of lentils as well as beans, but more so with lentils. And I'm going to tell you why I chose my lentils as a choice of legume. So now legumes have a long history, okay, specifically when it comes to lentils. And it is truly an ancient crop. And I mean what I'm saying because if you look at the plant domestication by humans, which began around 12,000 years ago in the Fertile Crescent, and then it it expanded uh, through the world, including China, Mesoamerican America, the Andes, and sub-Saharan African and Eastern North America, etc. And then it ended up in Indus Valley civilization approximately 5,000 years ago. And Indus Valley civilization has played a very important role in the domestication of grains and legumes. Uh, so there are certain crops such as pigeon pea, black gram, green gram, lab gram, and moth bean, horse gram have originated in the Indian subcontinent. And interesting thing is, I have one, two, three, four, five of these lentils for you to show today. So how super cool is that? And so I later on make sure that you hang in here, because I'm going to show you these particular varieties of lentils. Now, just as a side note, domestication of a plant means that domestication, or the process of domestication, is dynamic, and it's an ongoing process of transforming wild species or wild variety of plants uh, into a cultivated species by selecting desirable agricultural plant features to meet human needs such as taste, yield, storage, and other cultivation practices. So that's what cultivation means. And because of the cultivation or domestication of these plants, the whole agricultural movement was possible. So this is where the whole domestication of uh, legume plants started, like I said, in Fertile Crescent. But when it comes to lentils, it is believed that lentils were domesticated around 11,000 BC in the Near East, in the caves of Greece, and in Syria, in a region called the cradle of agriculture. And then it reached India 2500 BC. So if you want to just look at the map here, this is where the uh, the Fertile Crescent is. Now, in this Fertile Crescent, in that little agricultural valley, what is believed to be founder's crop were found. So, founder's crop is a term that was coined by two academicians, Johari and Hoff, uh, out of Israel, and they identified these eight plants. Three of them are from the cereal group, which is acorn, wheat, emmer wheat, and barley. Four are from the legume group: lentils, peas, bitter vetch, and chickpeas. And the last one, the eighth one, is from the fibre or oil group, and those are our flax seeds. So they were founded very early in a Neolithic agriculture in Southwest Asia, and they were the first, obviously, found domesticated grain and legume, and actually oil plants, and hence they are called as founder's crop. Uh, Personally, I have not seen the bitter vetch, vetch or vetch, depending on whom you're talking to. Uh, it's pronounced, but I have not seen or touched or eaten bitter vetch. But I have heard that it is like pea, and also known as health pea. So again, this all these founders crop were founded in this cradle of agriculture, which lies within this fertile crescent, which is now basically northern Syria, southwestern Turkey. Now, the brief differentiation between lentils and beans. The botanical classification is basically lentils belong to the lens genus and beans belong to the uh, uh, Phaseolus genus. The shapes and sizes, usually lentils are round, they are small, they are lens shaped. That's why they are called as lens culinaris, which means like a lens, shape of your eye, actually. And they come in various colors. Beans are slightly larger. They are round. They come in kidney shape. They come in oval shape, uh, but they also vary in shapes and sizes. Now, cooking time for lentils is relatively low compared to dried beans, where the cooking size is little longer. And we will be talking about the cooking methods of lentils a little bit later in the presentation. When it comes to texture, lentils are softer. They retain their firmness depending on how you cook it, and they have smoother texture as well. Whereas beans are firmer, and they can take a little longer, but they can be creamy when cooked. And when it comes to flavor, lentils have much milder flavor, and they also absorb flavor really well, whereas beans have little more stronger, more pronounced flavor. And beans can be a little bit sweet, but I have noticed over the years that lentils, especially mung type of lentils, can have a slightly sweeter flavor. Now, nutritional composition, this is where it's going to get very interesting very soon. So both lentils and beans are high in protein, iron, calcium, folate, fiber. However, lentils have more prebiotic fiber than beans. And that is a unique property of lentils when we compare lentils with beans. As far as the culinary uses are concerned, both of them are used in soup, stews, salads, side dishes, chilies, spreads, etc. But I have seen that lentils are particularly more user-friendly, or can imitate the texture of ground meat, or turkey crumbles or meat crumbles, because of the just the way their texture is. Okay, so lentils or legumes in general, have been extremely valuable crop because of their role not only in human health, but also in terms of planet and soil health. So legume play a very crucial role or significant role in increasing the nitrogen production, okay, and refixing the nitrogen back in the soil. So when legume crops are rotated with non-legume crops, it improves the fertility of the soil by, again, like I said, by fixing that nitrogen, and it restores natural soil matter, limiting the pest-related diseases. Okay, so by having alternate cropping practices or rotation cropping practices, such as 1 year farmer is planting grains like soy or wheat, corn, and barley, oats, and then next year they are planting legumes. That's how the farming should be done, because legume crops are the only ones who can fix that nitrogen back in the soil. And why legumes are able to fix that nitrogen back in the soil is because they are rich in protein. Hence, they have abundant of nitrogen in them. So those of us, those people who are worried about their protein on legume containing diet or whole food plant-based diet, they don't have to worry about it because legumes have plenty of protein to not only fix our health, but also fixing the health of our soil. Now, in addition to that, it contributes to the biodiversity for animals and other plants, because legumes, other plants grow alongside of leguminous plant, and so on and so forth. That's how we maintain the biodiversity. And they have the lowest carbon footprint in terms of uh, carbon emission, as well as they have the lowest water footprint, it only takes 43 gallons of water to produce 1 pound of lentils. Whereas if you look at, gosh, beef, 1,857 gallons of water, pork, 756 gallons of water, chicken, 469 gallons of water, peanuts, 160, and soybeans, 216, and our pulses or legumes take minimum at 43 gallons of water. So, low carbon and water footprint is another advantage here. Now, so when did my love affair with lentils started? Why I fell in love with lentils is a little side story that I'm going to tell you. So I started practicing as a dietitian in 2006, around this month, actually around May June, and in 2007 or so I was invited to speak at a gluten-free conference right here in Chicagoland area, and the founder of that company, Jen, who later on became my best friend, asked me what I was going to talk about. And remember, 2007, the gluten free world was all about gluten free donuts and gluten free pretzels and cookies and all that. And I'm not a baker. Uh, I told her that, you know what? All I know is beans and lentils are naturally gluten free. So, how about I talk about beans and lentils? Because I grew up eating beans and lentils, and that was the only basically food groups that we were taught back in school that are naturally gluten free, along with obviously some grains. Um, so I literally stood there and for an hour showed people different kinds of beans, different kind of lentils, and what to do with them, how to cook with them, and why they are phenomenal, so on and so forth. And the response that I got was amazing. I got so many questions about lentils, and people wanted to know where to buy them, how to cook with them, how they can start incorporating in their diet, because my presentation was about uh, be gluten free but not nutrient free, because even back then I could see that if this gluten free community just focused on eating donuts and gluten free pretzels and breads and all that, that one day they are going to have chronic diseases. I could see it back then, and I tried to tell, but again, in front of donut, I lost, obviously. So um, I got so much uh, I received so much interest in the topic that I started reading more about lentils. I started researching more about it, and started noticing that there is a there was something in lentils. I could see that when I started asking people to start eating, that their gut health would improve. And I knew that between beans and lentils, specifically the mung lentils or the masoor lentils, which is the pink lentil, are extremely easy to digest. And in most part of the world, that is baby's first food. So I knew that if the lentils were so gentle on baby's GI tract, then the people who are suffering with colitis or IBS, they probably will be able to tolerate. So I would ask people to start eating half a teaspoon or a teaspoon of lentils. But even at those small doses, I could see that their health slowly but surely was improving. And it was around the same time I got an opportunity to attend uh, an event that was hosted by US Dry Lentil and Pea Council. I didn't even know that such organization existed until then. And now they call themselves US Pulses, but back then they were called US Dry Lentil and Pea Council. And when I went for that event, I saw only a handful of people there. It wasn't a big show or anything, and they talked about the benefits of lentils and peas and legumes. But then I looked around and saw that in real life nobody was eating it. So I was thinking, there was, so that it was the delta between what they were talking about in terms of how important the legumes are for human and soil health. I noticed the underutilization of legumes. And so I started noticing that people were not aware of eating legumes or lentils. And as I started reading more and more about it, I got more and more excited about it. In fact, I was so excited, and there was so much demand from people as to how to cook, what to do with lentils, that I ended up opening up a small little company with that was, and we were producing few different very interesting lentil based products. Actually, it was probably the whole food plant based meal kit type of operation back then, and now similar products are in the market. But what caught my attention during my research, as I went on this adventure with lentils, or this love affair with lentils, as people started calling me that I was having, that I noticed that the word prebiotic and lentil kept coming. That, hey, lentil as a rich source of prebiotic, lentil, the utilization of lentil as prebiotic. And that caught my attention, because now it made sense as to why my patients were improving in terms of their chronic disease, maybe because of the inclusion of natural prebiotic from the lentil group. So those of you who want to know what prebiotics are, I would like to tell you that not all fibers are created equally. Prebiotics are these special fibers. They are known as low digestible carbohydrates, and they're defined as selectively fermented ingredient that allow specific changes both in the composition or the activity in the gastrointestinal microflora that exhibits benefits upon hosts basically well-being and health. So the prebiotic is a specific colonic nutrient. Prebiotic is considered as a nutrient. It's a metabolic substrate, and not every fiber gets qualified as prebiotic. It's like all all prebiotic fiber uh, is falls under fiber, but not all fibers are prebiotic. Uh, because in order to get classified, or in order for a food to get classified as a prebiotic source, it has to show that it is resisting the digestive process in the upper intestinal tract, and it is fermentable by the intestinal microbiome, and it selectively stimulates the growth and activity of health promoting bacteria. So these particular fibers are designed are to promote the growth of good bacteria in the microbiome, and produce what is called as short short chain fatty acids. Now, these short chain fatty acids are extremely important, and as I'm mentioning it here, they are produced only when you ingest variety of fiber, and specifically prebiotic fiber. Now, everybody knows about the probiotic, obviously, right? So, prebiotic is a fiber that feeds the probiotic microbiome. So, completely different things. Even though people spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on buying probiotic supplements and this and that, if your diet is not robust in prebiotic rich fiber containing foods, the probiotic is pretty much useless. But if we focus on prebiotics more, if our becomes high in variety of fibers, then you really don't need to spend money on probiotics. So again, it all goes back to making sure that you are eating whole food plant-based diet, and uh, to maintain your health. So, as I was saying, the prebiotic fiber produce short chain fatty acids. The health benefits of short chain fatty acids are widely studied, and they have anti-inflammatory properties. Short chain fatty acids play important role in weight loss. Hence, the title of this topic, unleashing the power of lentils for weight loss. That is it because the decrease in appetite, decrease in lipogenesis, which means fat storage. It decreases lipid accumulation, which means fat is not is again the accumulation of it, and increase in the browning of white adipose tissue. It's the brown adipose tissue which causes cardiovascular disease such as heart disease. So all in all, it helps reduce overweight, obesity, and conditions associated with those. It is anti-diabetic because it improves the short chain fatty acids, improve the insulin sensitivity, it balances sugar, and it decreases hepatic gluconeogenesis, which means it stops liver from producing new molecules of glucose. It is anti-cancerous. It decreases the cancer cell proliferation, increases cancer cell cycle arrest. It decreases again inflammation and metastasis. It has cardiovascular protection, so decreases blood lipid, does reduces cholesterol, decreases blood pressure. I'm going to talk about why, which particular nutrient cause decrease in blood pressure that this short chain fatty acid produce because of the prebiotic content of lentils. And it has neuroprotective effects by again decreasing the inflammatory markers such as COX-X2 and intraleukin and TNF, tumor necrosis factor. It contributes to constipation treatment by decreasing the transit time through the gut and increasing the intestinal mobility, so on and so forth. So, all in all, a fiber rich diet in general will benefit human health. However, addition of prebiotic rich foods to the diet will specifically produce short chain fatty acids, which then have many health benefits, especially when it comes to chronic disease. So as I was studying about this prebiotic microbiome, role of lentils in it, every time of among all the legumes, lentils made the list. Okay, and if we look at uh, these prebiotics types, such as sugar alcohol, sorbitol, mannitol, non-starchy polysaccharides, RFO is a type of prebiotic, nicelose, FOS, fructooligosaccharides, etc., total starch and resistant starch. You will notice that the lentils have pretty much all types of prebiotic fiber, which as of now we know of, compared to other sources of prebiotics such as Jerusalem artichoke, onion, garlic should also be here, white bread, and of course the common bean. So when you compare lentils with other beans and grains, you can see that when it comes to fiber, lentils are a good source of fiber. Of course, they have protein. Almost 1/4 of lentil is protein, 26 grams per 100 grams, and 42 grams of iron, total fat. But what is most interesting to me was the amount of prebiotic fiber that is found in lentils compared to all other grains and beans. 7 to 13 grams of prebiotic fiber. And look at the antioxidant value, which is like 7,282. Not too bad compared to other grains and lentils. So, like I said, the lentil, uh, the the prebiotic benefit of lentil and overall its nutritional profile kept coming back to me as one of the nutrient dense legume to focus on. So I kept going and reading about the role of lentils in human health and nutrition, and started noticing that it wasn't just the prebiotic fiber, but the polyphenol rich lentils, or the other antioxidant component of lentils, or what is called as uh, flavonoids, are also played a role in human health. So when you compare 100 grams of lentils and try to analyze it, you notice that it is a nutritional powerhouse. By every nutrient, it ranks very high for energy, protein. Uh, it ranks low on fat, which is a great news for us. Carbohydrates, dietary fiber, but the look at the mineral profile here: calcium, iron, magnesium, phosphorus, potassium, and sodium. They are so well balanced that they must be playing, this particular nutritional composition must be playing a role when it comes to blood pressure management uh, of one's health. And it also has a lot of folate and other vitamins. So all in all, the nutritional composition of lentil indicate that they are a nutritional powerhouse. Now, the bioactive functional compounds in lentils that promote those other health properties like anti-cancer, anti-inflammatory, come from these particular compounds like polyphenols and trypsin. Believe it or not, even though lectins is considered as a controversial uh, compound when it comes to lentils, and there's a lot of not unnecessarily negative mm, uh, rap that lentils or legumes have gotten in general is completely wrong, because yes, lectins when eaten raw have negative effect on human health, but who is eating raw lentils, right? We all soak and cook and eat those lentils. But even then, if there are any traces of lectins, they are a strong stimulators of some a particular lymphocyte, which which improve our immune system. So lectins are not bad. Don't get sucked into that kind of wrong information. Along with lectins are defensins and again dietary fiber. These are the bioactive compounds commonly found in lentils. So the other health benefits of these bioactive compounds include antioxidant activity because of the polyphenols, as it is a very strong antioxidant, and there's a detoxification and binding to the carcinogens, which means that the any environmental toxins that are accumulating in your body, polyphenols are going to bind to it, and they are going to absorb and do the clearance through the bowel, thus reducing the harmful effects of any of the carcinogens that you may be accumulating. Their bioactive compounds such as polyphenols or flavonoids also contribute to a DNA repair. So polyphenols have been shown to enhance the health of DNA in cells, and they maintain the integrity of it, the fidelity of it, and thus have their role in cancer prevention. The anti-inflammatory effects come from the by reducing the chronic inflammation in the body, like I was saying, by reducing the TNF and intraleukin cytokinin production. Why is not?
This is so interesting, by the way.
Oh, you like it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean,
Oh my God.
and the thing about lectins, that people are even worried about a food that you would never eat uncooked anyway.
Correct. I mean, why make a big fuss about something that is not happening, you know? Okay. So again, the metabolic health benefits continue. Chef AJ, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, it says metabolic health benefits.
Okay, perfect. Because I don't know, somehow the screen froze, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah, no problem.
So metabolic health benefits continue with cardiovascular benefits. That, like I said, the reduction in blood pressure through the ACE inhibitor activity, and I think that is because of that mineral profile that I just showed you. Then the weight loss benefits are extremely obvious, not only from the fiber perspective, but again, all the macro and the micronutrients that are in there, and the appetite suppressant qualities, as well as the satiety promoting properties of some of these nutrients, the blood glucose benefits, the cancer protective benefits. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. So, Chef AJ, I'm going to take a 1-minute pause and ask you something. Do you think I made a pretty decent case that lentils are not a new kid on the street here, but has an ancient history and is like nutritionally wise?
Absolutely. It seems like all the healthiest people have eaten them.
That is right. So I have spoken to hundreds of people about how beneficial lentils are, how easy they are to get, how cheap they are, all that good stuff, right? But even then, towards the end of the conversation, I sense that some of these people go into that protein panic. Oh my God, oh my God. Am I still going to get enough protein if I just focus on lentils as a source of protein in my diet? Okay. And they start looking into, oh, if the whole lentils are good, then there must be a lentil powder somewhere, you know, or isolated lentil something bar, right? So I'm going to take few minutes to address this protein panic. I call it that our population is constantly going through. Okay. So the first question is obviously how much protein is needed. I want you to take a piece of paper and pen and do a very simple calculation. So if there is somebody out there who has a standard American lifestyle, which is, you know, 1 hour of exercise, and they need to lose some weight, and they are doing daily activities of living, nothing intense. Nobody is climbing the trees here, mountains here, doing farming, all that. And let's say somebody weighs 185 pounds, which is 83 kgs. Now, if we use the standard RDA recommendation, the protein need for general population, now that already includes people who need more and those who need less. That's how the RDAs are calculated. They have a wide range of type of people that falls under that bell curve. So the protein need of general population is 0.8 kgs, which means if somebody is 185 pounds, if we convert their weight into kgs, they are 83 kilograms. And if we multiply 83 kilograms with 0.8, the amount of protein that they need is 63 grams. Pretty simple. So for somebody like this, the daily need is 67 grams. Okay, all right. Now, then the next question is, so to get my 63 grams, what kind of protein do I need? Do I get all essential and non-essential proteins from food? And the answer is yes, all plant sources contain protein. The only difference is legumes are lower in methionine and grains are lower in lysine. Now the word here is low, not lack, but low. So if you're eating enough variety, and again, I'm not saying you have to eat 50 different kinds of grains and beans and lentils and vegetables. Even if you have a reasonably enough variety in your diet, every plant food that you are eating has all kinds of all 21 amino acids. The only difference is the ratio of each amino acid in each is slightly different. And the beauty of this is, though, if legumes are low in methionine, they can borrow lysine from somebody else, and that lysine can come from grain. That lysine can little bit of lysine can come from spinach, it can come from potato, so on and so forth. So all these plant foods, they are like a nice little it's a nice neighborhood where all the neighbors are helping each other to get to get things going. So nobody needs to worry about the whole essential versus non-essential and supplementing with animal food or protein source to get their protein requires fulfilled. Okay. Now, then the third question is, oh, no, I need more protein because I exercise a lot. I want to build muscles. Okay. I said, okay, I'll help you build muscles. And the example that I'm going to give you is usually given by the nutrition professor at Stanford, Dr. Christopher Gardner. So let's say somebody wants to build 10 kgs of muscle per year. Now, 10 kgs of muscle mass is a lot of muscle mass. Okay, it's not easy, and nobody, unless you are a professional athlete, I don't think it's a reasonable ask. But let's say somebody wants to build 10 kgs of muscle. Now, let's convert the kgs into grams, which is 10,000 grams of muscle per year. Now, number one, 75% of muscle mass is water. So, okay, so 75 is gone. Now we are left with 25%, which is not water. So we have 2,500 grams of muscle mass per year. Now let's divide 2,500 grams of muscle mass over a year. So divide that by 365 days, which comes to 6.849 grams of protein per day. So you don't have to eat 20, 30, 40 grams of extra protein per day to build muscle. All you need is 6.6 grams of extra protein per day from any plant-based source, which includes 5 tablespoons of lentils, cooked lentils, or one large potato, or 1 cup of frozen broccoli, or 1 cup of brown rice, or 4 cups of zucchini. You do the math, guys. Okay. Protein panic question number 4. Oh, well, this is all good, but what if I want to eat extra protein? I am on a high protein diet. Well, let me tell you something. We have storage for our macronutrients. For example, excess fat in the diet gets stored as fat. Everybody agrees. Excess carbohydrate gets stored as glycogen. Okay, glycogen is extremely important. We need to have that storage to do the to give us energy when we are not eating anything. So glycogen stores are extremely important. Usually, what 2 to 3 grams? 2 to 3 kgs of glycogen is stored in human body. So, but that's our limit. Fat, we can store any amount. All the organs, all the cells are capable of storing fat. That's how our body is designed. That's how it functions. So there is no problem storing fat. Carbohydrates get stored as glycogen. But look what happens to excess protein. Excess protein gets stored as fat. It doesn't get stored as a muscle. Nobody is growing extra arm or a bicep or a tricep. It doesn't work that way. So when people don't lose weight and they are on a high protein diet, even if it is high plant protein diet, by taking protein supplements and bars and smoothies, extra smoothies, or whatever, everything that is out there. I have even seen protein water or protein gel. It's all going to get converted into fat. You will be chasing your own tail when it comes to weight loss. It is not happening. So I hope these 2 slides will put people to will calm them down from this protein panic that they constantly suffer from. So one day, what I did, I just decided to I took a random day of what I eat and I put it in my software and see what I'm getting here. So rolled oats, I ate I ate half a cup of dry rolled oats, which comes to approximately 2.5 cups of cooked oats. That's my usual breakfast in the morning. And some days I add flax seeds. That day I added flax seed, which was 1/4 cup of flax seeds. I added 1 cup of blueberries for snack later on. Then I ate pasta 2 times, early lunch, early afternoon lunch, and then I had a salad with 4 cups of spinach. Then I had 2 baked potatoes with 1 cup of cooked lentils, and then frozen spinach. Then I was going for a walk, so I ended up eating 1 sweet potato and orange. So this is kind of sort of a typical day. Different foods obviously I eat, but I just picked that particular day to do these calculations. So nothing intense here. And even on this diet here, I got 1978 calories, 83 grams of protein. And my need is hardly any, 55 probably. I still got excess amount of protein. Without adding any fat, I got 29 grams of fat. I got 68 grams of fiber. That's wonderful. So at least to carry some excess fat out of my diet, if there was any fat going to get stored from any intake of extra fat or protein, at least I had fiber, a garbage man, to take that off. And I pretty much met all the needs for most of my nutrients, including the another panic pain point for people is the omega. I got 9,715 milligrams of omega-3 fatty acids. And if you look on the left-hand side here, the brown rice gave me 10 grams of protein, frozen zucchini gave 6 grams, lentils had 32 grams, potato 6.35, steel cut oats 9.75, and sweet potato 2. That's where I got my 80 grams. So if all these three sides doesn't calm anybody down of their protein panic, then I don't know what else to do. But I hope it will. So now let's get into some fun things. So there are literally 30, 40 types of variety of lentils. These are just some of the example: green lentils, brown lentils, Spanish, pew lentils, petite, all different kind of black beluga, so on and so forth. And the oldest cultivated variety, the pigeon pea, black gram, green gram, moth bean, and horse gram, those are the ones I'm going to show it to you now. So Chef AJ, is it possible for you to focus on me from the slides, because I'm going to do some show and tell of lentils?
Let's see if I can make you bigger, because the thing is your slides are taking up quite a, they're taking up most of the screen,
So should I get out of the?
Yes, I think it would be better. If you would just get out of the slideshow right now, then you'll be very big.
Okay, because I want people to see this.
Sure.
Now the question is,
I can stop sharing for you. Here we go.
Yeah, can you stop sharing for me?
So now you're nice. Now you're nice and big.
Okay, perfect. So let's start with the moth beans. So remember, guys, these are the oldest domesticated plants that I mentioned earlier in the presentation. So this is how the moth beans come in. They are like little moths, okay? And it's very interesting. So if I get it from a farmer in India, the seed is very tiny, and it comes from a specific village. But if I get it from a regular grocery store in the city, the seed is very big. But nonetheless, moth beans are still utilized. So these are the moth beans. These are pigeon peas. Now, the decorticated one is called as tur dal, and I'm going to show that to you later on as well. But the pigeon peas with the husk on, this is how they look, and again, they are one of those ancient ones. Horse gram. Well, there is a reason why it's called horse gram, because it is extremely nutrient dense, has a lot of iron in it, and usually eaten sprouted, and again, a nutritional powerhouse. So we got that. And then I have black gram. So black gram, when it is split, any lentil, when it is split, is called as dal. And the whole lentil is called as just a whole lentil. So this is black gram dal because it's split. If it was whole, then we will call it black gram, not dal. So that's the difference between whole versus dal. And the black gram dal has a sticky consistency to it, and it also ferments extremely well of all the dals. So some of the fermented recipes such as idlis and dosas or uttapams, where we ferment grains with lentils, urad dal or black gram dal is a one of the ingredient. That's that. Now, this is the decorticated ones, which means, oops, not this. Which means the skin is removed. What else? Then this was an interesting lentil variety that I had seen only in US. These are called as Sashta lentils, and they are zero tannin lentils, and they are beautiful. They have this light pinkish hue, and they do not have tannin. So they are not brown or green in color, but they have this light tan color. And like I mentioned to you, I was so fascinated by different kind of lentils and lentils in general and nutritional property of it. I was involved in a project where we took these lentils and turned it into a lentil flake, which we had infused the lentil with turmeric. And you can hear they sound crunchy, and they are just beautiful lentil flakes that one could have used in granola or on top of dairy-free yogurt or oatmeal to add texture. It also tasted really good in salads. Then what do I have? So we usually have the chickpeas, which look like these, like chana dal. And the chana dal also, the chana or the Indian chickpeas are brown in color. But I also have this very unique variety, which is light pink in color. They are called pink chanas. And that is also another unique variety. The beauty of this is that you can go to an ethnic store and get all this. It's not like you have to travel, go around the globe and spend thousands of dollars to get into this, to get this treasure. This is cheaper than Ozempic, guys. If you have time to pick up your prescription, you have time to pick up something from the produce section. That's what I tell people when they say, oh, I don't have time to do this, time to do that. I say, do you go to the doctor? Yes. Do you go to your pharmacy to get your prescription for statins and diabetic medications and your um, some band to reduce your knee pain, and over the counter for this, over the counter for that, massage therapy, blah blah blah? Yes, I do. Then you have time to cook or and get groceries and all this stuff. So what else? Otherwise, what other chickpeas? Well, I have these another round peas. They are not exactly lentils, but they are these brown peas, which are also an interesting legume to have in the cupboard. Now, the chickpea, the chana dal that I showed you, you also get roasted one that you can eat it as a snack, similar to roasted chickpeas, but slightly different. They are brown in color. So if you go to Indian store, look for roasted chana dal for snacking. Okay, we need to go back to the presentation. So that was kind of my show and tell. And we'll take questions later. Okay. Okay. So let's go. Again, people all over the world have been eating lentils. These next two slides talk about different kind of lentils used in different countries, in Germany and Spain and India, Bangladesh, Ethiopia, Nepal, Italy, Peru, Japan, Thailand, Kenya, Switzerland, Algeria, Israel, Russia, Morocco, Tunisia, Lebanon, Iraq, Iran, Turkey, Sri Lanka, Indonesia. Well, the list goes on and on. And if you look at it, people around the globe have been using it in salads and soups and side dishes. In India, we also use it in dessert, different kind of desserts. So that's that. Because most of these lentils can also be used in a flour format, and maybe later on I will show you a couple different flours. But again, different countries have different ways of utilizing lentils. As I mentioned earlier, a split lentil is called as dal, and a stew made with lentil is called as dal. So that's what this whole dal thing is all about. And there are different ways of making delicious dals. Dal is basically a stew made by using different kind of lentils and herbs and spices and vegetables and other flavoring agents. Now, enjoying lentils, well, you can sprout them, you can cook them. The horse gram and the moth beans that I showed you earlier, almost 99.9% of the time we sprout them and use them in cooking. Very seldomly we uh, cook it as is. And so these two particular lentils are usually sprouted and cooked. Chana dal, like I said, comes whole, split, or roasted, and it has a longer cooking time. You get whole chana dal, split, or flour. It's little difficult to digest. Anybody who has digestive health issues, we don't usually recommend, or I don't usually recommend chana or chickpeas. The one dal here called wal dal. It comes from the fava bean family, and it's a little bit bitter. But if you cook it correctly with a little bit of coconut and some jaggery or anything slightly sweet in there, it balances out the flavor. Then you have the moong dal, which comes in whole, yellow, or green split format, corticated and decorticated. It's easy to digest. Moong dal is usually baby's first food in Asia and Africa. It is also given to pregnant and breastfeeding moms and those with GI issues. When I started practicing, I was recommending only moong dal decorticated and masoor dal decorticated and just soaked overnight with 1 teaspoon of just eat 1 teaspoon at a time. Urad dal, the black one that I showed you, it comes as decorticated as white and split with skin. As I mentioned, it ferments really well with rice and other grains. It's sticky, so you can spread it like similar to crepe on the skillet. Tur dal is the most widely used dal all over Southeast Asia, and it has a longer cooking time. Tur dal is basically the pigeon peas that I showed you, but the decorticated variety, and it is usually cooked in a pressure cooker or instant pot. And again, we make stew out of it, and it's mixed with greens and root vegetables and different kind of spices. My website has a lot of recipes where I showcase different kind of lentils and other things. So when you're cooking lentils, there is a concept called brining the legumes. And what it means is it's a process. Brining is a process where you uh, you add salt to the soaking water. And what that salt does is the sodium in salt interacts with the cells of the bean's skins, and the skin of the bean or the lentil has pectin. Pectin is that gel-like substance that you see when we cook beans. It's slippery, it's jelly-like. That's what pectin is. But that pectin is very tightly bound in the skin of the lentil or a pea and a bean. So when you add salt, the sodium kind of penetrates through the skin and loosens that pectin and allows the water to get in. And that helps to make sure that the bean, when cooked, or the lentil, when it is cooked, is soft and has a softer texture. At the same time, it also makes sure that it cooks evenly. So that's the benefit of brining the legumes before you cook. And because you are adding salt, you may be worried about if it's going to increase your salt intake, but not really, because only 55 milligrams of salt gets absorbed for 3 ounces of lentils that are brined. So it's not like all those 3 tablespoons of salt is going to get absorbed by 1 pound of lentils. So you don't have to worry about the salt content of these brined lentils. And when you're cooking lentils, you can do the quick boil. It cooks in 5 to 10 minutes. If you're looking for al dente type of texture, then bringing water to boil, add the lentils, cook for 1 to 2 minutes, turn the heat off, and cover it for 10 to 15 minutes until you get just cooked enough but not mushy. Now, cooking, cooling, and reheating improves the prebiotic content of lentils. Sprouting helps. Instant pot is another way to cook. Pressure cooker, stuffed up method. And I have also cooked lentils in the oven by just cooking, like baking it like similar to oatmeal. Okay, so you can do all kinds of things: wrap, salads, snacks, patties, pilau, stews, soups, desserts using lentils. Like I said, my my YouTube channel Nutrition is Deepa has some lentil recipes, and I keep adding to that collection. So call to action here. Well, visit the ethnic stores and get the lentils. You can start adding 1 to 2 teaspoons of hulled or dal, the split lentils, to your diet if you are new to eating beans and lentils, to avoid the GI or digestive discomfort like gas and bloating. A lot of people add baking soda, baking powder. Please don't do that, because the baking soda, baking powder destroys the B vitamin content of grains and legumes. You can slightly steam the sprouted lentils to make it easier to digest. But again, don't cook for too long and destroy all the nutrients. Soak and cook lentils with broth, like vegetable broth, for flavor. And al dente lentil makes a good crumble substitute. So for meat crumbles or turkey crumble substitute, al dente lentils kind of, and then you can chop it um, to get that texture and season it, and you will have a good meatless crumble recipe. Now I'm going to quickly move to a bit of a policy mode here, and because I want to address the health of our children and want to talk a bit about the school lunch program. So the USDA's National School Lunch Program serves 4.9 billion lunches annually. Okay. 97% of Americans are fiber deficient. And among children and adolescents, it is estimated that 93 to 97% of children are deficient in fiber. When a dietary assessment was done on school nutrition, they found that only or less or fewer than 8% of American public schools offered lunches meeting the fiber adequate intake. And no school offered breakfast meeting the fiber requirement. When they looked at the lunches served, only 3% of total food items contained legumes. Legumes, 1/4 cup of legume can be credited as a one meat and meat alternate in school meals. And in spite of that, only 3% of entrees or meal items that are offered on the lunch tray contain legumes. So there is a huge opportunity to advance the cause here for legumes in schools, because the fiber is the most important nutrient for human survival and for chronic disease prevention. So I'm going to give a shout out to two organizations, Balanced and PBNM, Plant-Based Nutrition Movement, and Balanced is an organization. They are both focusing on fiber. And in Illinois, there is a law passed that schools are required to provide plant-based lunch options to those students who submit a prior request to get a plant-based lunch. And there are 5 or 7 schools which are going to participate in this pilot. So if there are anybody out there who have any role to play in school lunch program, please promote lentils or legumes in schools for kids. Now, before I go, I want to quickly go over the story of this story is by Russell Conwell, who was a founder of Temple University, and he wrote a story called Acres of Diamonds. Basically, the moral of the story is that there was this Persian man, Ali, who wanted to discover diamond, and he used to stand by the river and look up in the sky. Oh, when am I going to find the diamonds? Where should I go? He was looking everywhere. Finally, he packed his bag and went around uh, the around the world in search of diamonds. Didn't find it. Died during that expedition. And then when somebody came back to give the message that, hey, Ali has not made it, and noticed and looked down where Ali used to stand by the river, that the diamonds were flowing in that river. So Ali had the diamonds right next to him. And I feel when it comes to whole natural foods or whole plant-based foods, and those who are not seeing the benefit of it, they are really missing on those diamonds, because they are right there. Everyone can find and unleash the power of health. It's right there. It's in our hands, and we are literally holding it. So my urge to you all is to look in your pantry, look around, and find tools to unleash the power of your health. It's doable. There's part of collaboration. That is where Chef AJ comes in. She brings all of us together to learn from each other, to share with each other. As a dietitian, I have Back to Health program, where it's a personalized nutrition support and all different issues. And now with other local organizations, I am starting a support group called Satura. So if you are interested, just send us a text with your name and email, or send me an email and I will add you to that support group, which is going to meet once a month. If you are a healthcare provider and you need a digital module to deliver lifestyle medicine, let me know. And there is a company who is doing the beta right now and looking for healthcare providers to participate in it. So that being said, that brings me to the end of this show. And I thank you all for watching. And Chef AJ, take over.
Thank you. Okay, so this was a wonderful presentation, and I have a couple of, well, I have one question for sure. And I want to say that one of the things I learned that was so interesting is I knew that fat got stored as fat and that carbohydrates got stored as glycogen, but I did not know about protein getting stored as fat. So that was very interesting.
Perfect. That was the point I wanted to
Yeah.
drive home today because of the protein panic.
Yep, that was wonderful. So Jill wants to know if you do any personalized consulting. She's looking for a nutritionist and specifically would like to consult with someone to help her make a 7-day meal plan. Do you do this? And if not, do you know someone that does? A plant-based dietitian, of course.
Of course. Yeah, no, that's I do that. I love developing recipes. I mean, because I was in love with lentils and continue to be in love with lentils, I have developed lots of recipes over the years. And meal plan is something I can easily do based on her work-life balance and situation. So what is realistic to her? And yeah, so she can text us and we'll get